Unmasking the Invisible. Demystifying the use of reduced relative clauses. Hello everyone. Welcome to another exciting episode of our English language learning series. Today, we're going to talk about a unique and fascinating part of English grammar, reduced relative clauses. In this video, we'll be focusing specifically on the rules for forming reduced relative clauses, with an emphasis on identifying the relative pronoun. So, let's dive right in. Before we can jump into reduced relative clauses, it's crucial to understand what a regular relative clause is. These are types of dependent clauses that provide additional information about a noun. They are often introduced by relative pronouns such as who, which, that, among others. For example, the dog that barks loudly is mine. Here, that barks loudly is the relative clause describing the dog. Notice the relative pronoun, that. A reduced relative clause is simply a shorter version of a relative clause. In spoken and written English, particularly in formal situations, we often prefer to use these shorter forms to keep our language fluid and dynamic. For instance, the sentence, "The dog that is barking loudly is mine," can be reduced to, "The dog barking loudly is mine." Notice that we removed the relative pronoun, that, and the verb, is. Identifying the relative pronoun in reduced relative clauses can be a bit tricky because, as in our example above, they are often omitted. However, don't be dismayed. You can usually figure out what the relative pronoun is by looking at the context and understanding the function of the relative clause. In our example, "The dog barking loudly is mine." Barking loudly is modifying dog. Because dog is a thing, the original relative pronoun would have been that or which. Understanding this is crucial in forming reduced relative clauses correctly. The best way to master reduced relative clauses and the elusive relative pronoun is through practice. After this video, try to identify relative clauses in the sentences you read and hear. Then, see if you can reduce them. That's all for today's episode. We've taken a deep dive into the fascinating world of reduced relative clauses, focusing on identifying the relative pronoun. Hopefully, this helps you feel more confident using and understanding these in English. Remember, English is a dynamic language, and learning how to properly use reduced relative clauses can make your speech and writing much more natural. Happy learning, and see you in our next video.